Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I am Jules. I've lost 50 pounds and I am here documenting my weight loss, fitness, health journey to help people inspire, educate, let them know my experience, and that especially if you're older, post 50, post 40, whatnot, you can absolutely change your life and your health and get happier and healthier. And this is a milestone video because this month, May 2025, I have been maintaining a 50-pound weight loss at 113 pounds for 2 years. And that is huge because, like many of you, we know how to lose the weight. The maintaining part's the tough part. That's the tough journey. So it is emotional that I've hit 2 years now, and it has just been an amazing journey. I've been maintaining on 12.5 Zepbound weekly dose. That's what's worked for me. That's what's kept me sane. That's what's allowed me to still eat, work out, train, not have food noise. And I hope that I continue to do that. I'll play around with the dosing and the timing if that's something that I need to do. So I am flexible, but right now it works. So I'm not going to mess up a good thing that's working for me. So today I want to talk to you about my journey, what maintenance actually looks like, because, we've all seen those wonderful before pictures and after pictures. I've got plenty of them. And you look at that and you think, wow, that's the beginning. And then here's the end. This is the after picture. Wow, life is great. And you just kind of, walk off into the rainbows. And that's not exactly what happens. That after picture, that's like a moment in time. And then you still have the whole rest of your life, and that's maintenance. And that's the rest of your life. That's your journey. What does that look like? What do you do when stress happens in life? And how do you now manage all those things and maintain your weight? So one of the biggest things that I think is so important is that I have consistently taken my GLP-1 every single week. I have not missed a week. Yes, there are times when I know some people have to miss, if you have a surgery or something like that, you're supposed to go off of it for, a certain period of time that your doctor wants you off of it, and that's totally fine. But I've been very, very consistent. So I'm just going to talk about me and my experience. I've not had to have any surgeries recently. I've certainly had them in the past with shoulder and ACL and whatnot. But I've been very consistent with my GLP-1, taking it on a weekly basis. That has been a tool that has really helped to quiet the cravings, the food noise, enabled me to stick to the calorie deficit during the weight loss, and allowed me to stick to a certain calorie range in maintenance as well. Created that insulin sensitivity, made my metabolic health much more healthy and flexible to allow some more foods into maintenance and still be able to maintain that steady weight. Now, when I say I've maintained 113 pounds, I don't weigh that every single day of every single week of the last 2 years. It's a fluctuation. That's normal. There's a range. I give myself about a 5-pound range in that up or down. And then if I reach the upper limits, then I tweak something and I look at my data and then I come back down again. But I'm never going to be at the same weight every single day. There's always fluctuations. That's normal. And for me, I could fluctuate 3, 4, 5 pounds in a week. And that could be fluid, and it could be food, and it could be, there's all these different reasons. So I think that you have to keep in mind there's going to be fluctuation and allow that to happen. So I want to talk to you about some of my strategies that I have implemented in my maintenance that has helped me over the last 2 years, because I think it can help you as well when you're planning your maintenance or if you're currently on maintenance right now. So from a food perspective, I eat a lot of meals on repeat and I look forward to them and I enjoy my meals. So what that looks like for me is, and I always say I prioritize protein, but what does that exactly mean? Well, I eat a lot of chicken, fish, beef, eggs, cottage cheese. Those are the main sources of my protein. I will make extra dinner at night. So I will make, let's say, grilled chicken. I'm a big griller, so I like to put things on the grill. I like to put, chicken breasts or thighs. I use rubs and spices, different sauces, and I will throw that in my salad. I will cook up some vegetables. I'll make a little bit of rice on the side, and that's generally been my dinner. And then I'll have leftovers. And I will have, chicken or salmon or whatever it is that I had for dinner. That'll become my breakfast. Some people, it takes getting used to having dinner for breakfast. I'm now used to that, but I love starting my day with protein and having, just a chicken breast or a thigh or a piece of salmon. It really helps to satiate me and I don't get as hungry and I don't get to that place where I'm like starving. Because even on a GLP-1, if I go too long without food, I can get to a place where I'm so hungry. So eating a little bit throughout the day, like 3 meals, is a really good strategy. Some other meals that I have on repeat are, and this is a go-to favorite, and I've been having this for, 2.5 years now, and that's an egg omelet, 2-3 eggs. I throw in a bunch of vegetables, mushrooms, peppers, and spinach. And then I put in a 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. And wow, that is amazing. It's so good. I put salt on it. It's delicious. It's high in protein, high in vegetables. There's a little bit of carbs from the vegetables and there's really no starchy carbs. And it's so satiating. And I look forward to having that pretty much every single day. I just love having the consistency. It makes it easy to track the foods too. And for me, having that consistency, knowing what I'm getting in, knowing I'm hitting my protein, knowing I'm staying within, the calorie window that I need to be in, that's freedom. That to me is freedom. I don't feel it's restrictive at all. These are all choices that I make every single day. And to me, that is glorious and it's freedom and it keeps me where I am and I have energy and I'm happy. Number 2, I lift weights and I do this 5 days a week. Sometimes it's 15-20 minutes and on other days it could be an hour and a half. Generally the weekends I lift longer time periods because I have more time than during the week when I'm working. But I do lift weights 5 days a week. I love to strength train. I love how it makes me feel. And then of course I love how it makes me look. And also feeling strong is very powerful. And I want to be strong until, I'm old. I want to be able to, get up and move around and lift my suitcase up, to put it in the overhead bin and get it out by myself. Even though I'm only 5'1", yeah, I can still do that. And I want to be able to run and I want to be able to be active. And whenever my children have children and I become a grandma, I want to be that active, vibrant, young grandma that they look at and can maybe compare to other grandmas and go, wow, like you don't act like those grandmas. And I don't want to be like those grandmas. I want to be, active and vibrant. So I lift weights. I like how it makes me feel and it's my longevity tool. I also stay active in a general sense. So every morning it's my non-negotiable. I wake up and I walk. I throw my weighted vest on because if for some reason I can't get to my strength training, that also kind of acts as a strength trainer. So resistance training, it also puts pressure and triggers the muscle. So I throw my weighted vest on and I walk and I do an incline walk and I either go on my treadmill or I go outside, but that is my non-negotiable. I target 10,000 steps a day. Most often I'll get to 10,000, sometimes 12, sometimes more, but that is my general target on a daily basis, 7 days a week. Okay, number 3, I weigh myself every day. That's what I do people that have maintained their weight, and this is in the weight loss registry, the National Weight Loss Registry, they also weigh themselves on a regular basis, either daily or weekly. I don't think people generally go more than that. But I like to weigh myself daily. In the mornings, first thing, after the bathroom, I wear very light pajamas, everything's the same, everything's very consistent. And if you're gonna weigh yourself, that's how to do it. You wanna be very consistent. You don't wanna weigh yourself at the end of the day, because that will change how much food and fluid you have in there is going to change the scale, and it could change by 5 pounds. And it doesn't mean you gain 5 pounds, it's just what's in your stomach. So weigh every morning or weekly or whatever works for you, but do it on a regular basis so that you can track where you're at, and you can also disassociate your emotions from the scale. I went decades never weighing myself because I was terrified of the scale, and I had to finally come to terms that it's a tool, it's a data point to use to help me to lose the weight and to keep my eye on things, to keep me accountable, to make sure I'm maintaining that weight area that I'm at. Again, that kind of 5 pounds here or there. So I weigh myself every day, and I don't tie my emotions to it. So one day I could be up 2 or 3 pounds, and that's just fluid. I know it's not body fat. I know I didn't go off the rails and go crazy on something, because to actually gain 2 pounds of body fat, I would have to eat in excess of 7,000 calories. There's no way that I do that. And so you have to think when you're weighing yourself, keep your rational mind there and make sure that you don't let it go off the cliff thinking you did something terrible if the scale is up 2-3 pounds in one day or even a week. My mornings, I protect my mornings. They are the time that I get up, I work out, and I do that every single day. It is my non-negotiable. Are there anomalies? Of course. If I'm on a trip or I have to catch a plane or something of that nature, or if I have to take a very early work call, then of course there's an anomaly. But for the most part, 99% of the time, my mornings are for me, and I protect them and I get my workouts in so that I know it sets me up for the rest of the day, that if I cannot do anything more for myself that day, I've already done something, and it makes me feel really good, and it clears my mind, and it lowers my stress level, and I'm just a better person for the rest of the day. I still track my food. So that's another point in being able to maintain. I track everything. I tracked it when I was losing weight, and then I just kept doing it as I was maintaining. And again, because I have most of my meals on repeat, I can go to my online tracker, which I use MyFitnessPal, the free version, and it's just repeat. So it's basically copy, paste. It's really easy to do that. It's not a lot of work, and it makes me know that I'm still within what I'm supposed to be doing. And if I'm not, it gives me a data point to look back on to go, ooh, what did I do that day that made the scale go up? Oh, I had something that was like super salty and a lot of carbohydrates. Okay, that makes sense. And then I'll fix it, and maybe I'll pull back on the carbohydrates, and then, the scale goes back down because I'm holding on to a lot of water. So I know how to fix things. The point is, if you're not tracking, it's too easy for calorie creep to come in. That's happened to me. That salad dressing that you were measuring out, and you're like, I'm getting my 2 or 3 tablespoons of salad dressing, or the low cal, whatever it is you're putting on there. It's easy to put on so much more than that. Peanut butter. There's so many little items, nuts, and things that can just kind of creep in that you don't realize could be elevating your calories. And then all of a sudden, you're gaining weight again. You're like, I'm eating the same. I'm eating clean. I'm doing all the same things. What's going on? And it could be something as simple as that. Okay, one of the other things that I do is I say no. I say no without guilt, meaning I am not going out at night partying. I'm not drinking. I'm not, I was doing those things, not that long ago. But I don't feel guilty saying no. If there's some sort of an event that I really want to go to, I'll go to it. But for the most part, my life has changed and I'm really not interested in certain things. If it's not really going to fit into my lifestyle, here's another example. If somebody makes a particular food or I'm at an event, and they really want me to have it, but it's not something that I'm interested in, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat something to please someone else. And, I'll have a nice way of saying it, but I'm protecting myself. These are healthy boundaries that I have put into my life that will keep me healthy because no one else is living in my body but me. So if someone brings a food into your house, as another example, and they want you to eat it, you don't have to. Protect yourself. If that's not something that you're interested in, you can politely say no and have those healthy boundaries. And then finally, I go back to my why. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you losing weight? Why do you want to maintain your weight? Yes, it's really good from a vanity perspective to look good, but that's not going to sustain you. It's not deep enough. You got to dig deep into the why, and I'll always go back to the why whenever I get into a challenging situation or something in life gets emotional. Those things can throw you. Those are the things where you're like, I want to turn to food or this or whatever. And that's when those new habits are going to kick in. And that's when I go back to my why. And my why, one of my whys is I want to stay healthy for me for the rest of my life. I never want my children to have to take care of me. I don't want anyone to have to take care of me. I want to be able to live independently, and I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to live on my own independently that I can. And we have the power to do that. We don't have to give it to anyone else. So here's the truth. When you're on a GLP-1, like Wegovy or Zepbound, those cravings can come back. Your appetite is going to come back, and that's normal, and it should, because that's the human body indicating, you need to eat. And that can be scary. And I know it was for me too. And there are times when I was wondering, is my appetite going to turn off again? I mean, I'm still on Zepbound, but I'm getting really hungry. And there are days when I get really hungry and it scares me. Am I going to remain like this as I was in the past, where I was just continuously hungry day after day? But it never happens. And it will turn off again the next day. So just trust the process, trust in the GLP-1, learn to trust in yourself, in the new lifestyle that you have, the new habits, the new behaviors that you have, that it's normal to get cravings, it's normal to get your appetite back, but it's still mitigated. You're not gonna get off the rails like you did in the past. Having the right tools is so essential. And during that weight loss journey, you're building those tools. I have built those tools. I have gotten better by practicing, by lifting weights, by making that a consistent pattern in my life, by walking, by getting those 10,000 steps in, by figuring out what foods I like, what foods I don't like, what foods feel good, what foods don't feel good for me. And prioritizing getting in that protein is really, really important in helping that maintenance journey. And it has been for me. And I think also going back to how foods make you feel is really important. I don't think a lot of people, and I know I was one of them, you would eat something and you didn't make the correlation that it made you feel bad. And then you eat it again because you're just not really in touch with that. I've become much more in touch with how things are making me feel, so that if I know something doesn't make me feel good, I kind of stay away from it. but I've learned to make the connection and learn to recognize that. And I think it's really important for you to recognize that. There's too many people that walk around with GI distress and not making the connection on what they're eating is causing that. And if they can make the connection and get that aha moment, then they can stay away from certain things that are causing that. I'll give you an example. A long time ago, I started eating ice cream. This is before my journey. I love ice cream. But I got to a point where it was causing an upset stomach. And when I finally made the connection, I'm like, oh my God, it's the ice cream that's doing this. I started to stay away from it because I knew anytime I had ice cream, it would cause a stomach ache. And I just did not want to deal with the stomach ache. So that was enough for me to go no to the ice cream. That was a long time ago. That's just one little example, but something that you want to pay attention to. So if there's one thing that I learned on my weight loss journey to maintenance is don't rush the process. I'm a very impatient person and I wanted to get there, and I get it. When you're losing weight, like you just want it to happen tomorrow. But use the journey as a learning opportunity because you can't really rush it anyway. So try to feel good about yourself today. Don't wait until you get to that end point to feel good about yourself. Start feeling good about yourself today. You can do that. That will actually help you in your journey. It will actually help you get there a little faster. And then when you get to that point where you made it and you hit your goal weight, well, now you got to flip it. Now you're on maintenance journey. And that's something that looks a little bit different, and you have to experiment a little bit, and you have to trust yourself, your body, and all the things that you have implemented already to continue down that path, and know that you will be able to maintain this time and be consistent. That's one big thing, is to just stay consistent with all the patterns that you're doing. So drop a comment below and let me know what you're struggling with. What has your experience been? How is maintenance going for you? Or are you coming up to it and wondering how to do it? I would love to know, what are your fears? What's going on? And again, if you like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell button to know when the next video is coming. I love being able to share my journey and what's going on with you to help you in your journey. And I will see you in the next video. Stay strong.